this next topic that I want to talk about is about probably, I mean, you could argue the biggest horror franchise in the world, at least at this point in time, or at least one of them, probably maybe you could say top 5. Resident Evil is a franchise that, at least to me, yeah, there's been some hits and misses within the franchise, but that happens with any franchise out there.
Yeah, especially for one that's been around as long as Resident Evil.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, I think what was the first one on the PS2?
I think it was.
I think it was, because I remember playing P2. I remember playing R2 on the PS2.
Yeah. Resident Evil 9 is reportedly, Capcom is, I should say it's more rumored than anything, that Resident Evil 9 is going to get announced this year.
That's cool.
Which is awesome.
I'm fine.
Now, the question is where do they go from the events of, I mean, you could say following Biohazard, following Village? Where do you think they should go? Because at least for me, my history, and I'd love to hear your history with Resident Evil, but for me, I really got totally engulfed into the Resident Evil franchise with Resident Evil 5. The 5th one was my first real like go at Resident Evil. And I gotta tell you, I know a lot of people, there was like mixed reactions to 5. I loved 5. I know there was a lot of people who didn't, they thought some of the mechanics weren't that great. I think you like to run was you held down A or something like that. There was like a few things that people didn't like about it, but I loved Resident Evil 5. Okay. And that's what got me started. Then they brought out Resident Evil 6. I thought it was a massive step in the wrong direction, at least in my opinion. I just didn't like the story as much. I didn't think it was that great. And then we got Biohazard. And Biohazard, that really captured the essence of Resident Evil for me.
That revived, not really revived, but like a breath of fresh air to the series. Not to mention it brought in a bunch of new people.
Yeah.
Brought in me.
It brought in a lot of people.
I played the original Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 2 when it first came out. A buddy of mine at school hooked me up with it. He's like, "Yeah, you like zombies?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm into zombies a little bit." And he's like, "Sure, you can. I'm done with this game. You can have it." I'm like, "Oh, appreciate it, bro. Thank you a lot." And I had a fun time with it. I'm still terrified of this day to the freaking lickers because they are scary. Like they got tongues as long as my body.
Yeah.
And they climb on roofs. They got the brain exposed and everything. They're terrifying.
Yeah, I loved Biohazard.
Should have gotten more screen time in the movie. That's all I'm gonna say,
dude. 100%. And then we got, obviously you had some remakes in there. Yes. I know a lot of people love the remakes.
I enjoyed the remakes.
Yeah, I wasn't as big of a fan. I don't know. Maybe it was because I wanted
smart starting with RE2 instead of RE1.
Yeah, but I feel like
because a lot of people like Leon and a lot of people like Jill, Claire.
Right.
A lot of people like RE2 more than RE1.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that they were terrible games. No. I wanted more Biohazard, that kind of style, right? And we didn't get that. We still haven't. I mean, Village, I loved Village.
Village is so good.
Yeah, Village is outstanding, dude. I loved Village.
It was so much fun.
So where does it lead us? What do you think? Where do you think they should go? Do you think they should be more like Village, more like Biohazard, or a mixture of both? What do you think?
I think if it is following the story of Village and Biohazard, I think it should be more gameplay focused like those two games. But if it's new people, or better yet, old people like Chris, we have a lot of people that we haven't seen in recent like Biohazard time frame. We've seen Chris.
Yeah.
That is it. I think the use of Ada, I don't think, is Ada still alive? I don't remember. I'll have to look at the lore. But you have Leon, you have Jill, you have Claire, you have Honk, which I would love to see that bastard again. So, do you know about Honk at all?
Like his backstory?
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay, so he used to work for Umbrella. He was their attack dog. If they needed something gone, they called him and his strike team. Okay. That was it. And his last mission, which was in RE2, his job was to go find the doctor who stole the virus sample. He failed because he injected him. The scientist injected himself with it, and he sent his whole entire strike team to go run. It's my phone, I think. And in his words, he said, "I failed to get the sample." It's like, what are you going to do now? I'm going to go get another new sample. Just grabs his hunting knife, which is a big ass hunting knife, and just goes to try to get the sample back from the doctor. Lives somehow. And then after the fall of Umbrella, becomes a mercenary company. Now, in Umbrella, you know that there's like gene splicing, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He is all natural. He got through all of that shit without any modifications, any enhancements, just sheer badassery. That is Honk.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets the mission done.
Yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. He's going to go do it.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Do you think that we should play as Chris in 9?
In 9? Okay, so you have two options. Either go old character or go with one of the new characters. If you're going with one of the new characters, you're definitely playing as what's his name from both Village and
shit.
The main character. I forget his name.
I can look it up.
It's gonna bug me. And I'm gonna get some hate for it.
Yeah, no, I'm forgetting too.
But yeah, either you play as his daughter, who is a lot older in the end of Village. So you have an option of playing as her, or throw another curveball, play as him again. Even though I know he dies in the end of Village. Spoiler. The game has been out for 4 years now?
Yeah, it's been out for Ethan.
Yeah. Either you play as Ethan, because in the end of Village there's a cutscene where the daughter, I think her name's Hope, is looking at a foggy wall. You see a guy in the background, and it is his player model.
Oh, who, Chris?
No.
Or, I mean,
Ethan.
Yeah,
It's Ethan's player model. So he could be alive, especially since in Village they kind of explain why the fuck is this guy. That's another thing that people noticed in both Biohazard and Village. How the fuck is this guy so durable?
It's crazy.
He takes so much punishment, like ridiculous amounts.
Maybe he's just a badass, like Ellie from The Last of Us or some shit.
No, he's just made a mold. That's all he is,
dude.
He's had his leg cut off, his hand cut off twice, been stabbed in the chest, shot, and a bunch of other shit, set on fire. The man walks out of it, just slaps some slurp juice on his arm, reattaches it. All right, it's all good to go.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, dude, you know how we talk about like different franchises like Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed, where we're like, what you're doing isn't working. But with Capcom's Resident Evil, what they are doing is working. Yeah. And so, at least to me, dude, I think you got to continue where the momentum they got from Biohazard to Village.
Yeah.
I just think they got to continue that. Like, don't change up this formula that's working right now. I mean,
well, Capcom's smart. They are,
bro. They're
really smart when it comes to releasing games when they need to be released.
Yeah,
and they're also really good at listening to their players.
Mm-hmm.
So, not to mention, they know when to let a horse die. Is the best way to describe it. They know when to let something die. They, like, for example, Resident Evil, prime example, is they took a shot with making the remakes in between both Village and Biohazard, and a lot of people liked the remakes, because my biggest thing I liked about the remakes is the camera is on the character and not just some fucking corner in the room.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most annoying thing, and I'm happy it's gone.
The only thing with Capcom that just it's hard, that sucks for me is I don't know if you ever played Lost Planet, but man, dude, I loved the Lost Planet games. The first two were great. Third one, it was not as good, and so that's why I think they canceled it. But Lost Planet was really cool. Lost Planet reminded me of like a kid's Gears of War, kind of like just like not really like gory and stuff, you know. But I thought it was great. But I think it was smart for them to just kind of more so focus on Resident Evil, Monster Hunter.
I just had an epiphany about Capcom. Both Resident Evil and Monster Hunter have both done two different things, but they've also done the same thing. So with Resident Evil and Monster Hunter, they have both kept the same gameplay mechanics throughout their entire series. But instead of Monster Hunter upping its graphics every generation, they just keep adding new monsters with a minor upgrade to graphics. However, Resident Evil has done the opposite, where they've more focused on the graphics instead of adding new stuff, which is very weird to see both sides of the same coin and both of them work.
They're crushing it, dude. The only thing is DMC. I just want to see, and with the show,
give me a new game or something. I do not care. The anime is gas.
Yeah, so they were just waiting for Jeff to see the anime, and they're like, okay, now we're greenlighting it.
Give me
DMC 6, bro.
I don't care about DMC 6. Just I know we're getting another season of the show, but I want another DMC game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Me too.
As much as I haven't played DMC 5, my buddy who constantly grinds on me is saying, "Hey, you got to play DMC 5, especially now that the show is coming." I was like, "All right, I've played it. I haven't played through it. It's just, I like the characters. I like the gameplay. It's just not my speed."
Yeah. Well, the question is for you guys, though. What do you guys think about Resident Evil 9? Where do you guys think they should take the story? What do you guys think? Do you think you agree with Jeff and I where they should follow what the successes of Biohazard and Village, or something completely different? Let us know in the comment section down below, and let us know your thoughts.